TV, Swanage TV. Let's just drive for you and for me. Have fun in the sun, go swim in the sea. There's always something special on Swanage TV.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Swanage TV, episode number 15. Can you believe? It is 6 p.m. It is Friday, the 12th of June. Sorry we are late. We are live. And thanks for joining us. Yes, thanks for joining us. I'm Ian, and my co-host today, as always, is again not Gary.
No, not Gary.
It is indeed the lovely Rosemary, the telephone operator. Rosemary, thank you again for coming in. Quick message to everyone about Gary. He is getting back to normal. He's getting back to his new job. He just wanted to shout out to let everybody know he'd be back soon. So, Gary, looking forward to seeing you.
Not as much as me.
Right, yes, there's obviously someone else who's looking forward to him. Thank you, Rosemary. Right, lovely. So, Rosemary, how are you?
Well, I've not enjoyed the weather as much this week as I did,
No, your
previous week.
your tan's going, Rosemary.
Yeah, tan's fading, definitely.
That's
not
a bit
as
of a
good.
shame.
Yeah.
What have you done? Anything exciting or not?
Not really. Getting fatter. Hair needs doing even more than it did 2 weeks ago.
I still have the Richard Madeley.
Yeah, not good.
It's not good.
Not good look.
Please open up soon.
Please.
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 Weren't you trying to, because I know you've been working hard, and I know you've earned a bit of money doing this working thing, but didn't you buy a little hot tub or something?
Might have treated myself.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Is it nice?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, definitely a good purchase.
Okay, very nice.
What have you been doing, Ian?
Wow. Wow. Where do you want to go? Nothing bad. But my lovely wife, I don't know if you know her, she's lovely. She has allowed me
Allowed
me
Oh, nice.
to replace my motorcycle. Gonna get it tomorrow. Got to go to Bristol for it. Got to go and get it. Got to ride it back. Got to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to her. She's a very nice lady.
When
honestly.
are the stabilisers going on it?
Oi! Thursday. So, Rosemary, that's pretty good. Yeah, I can't wait for my motorbike. So, listen, what is coming up on the show?
Well, we've got 5 hot topics of the week.
Again, we like that, don't we?
We do like that. We have got Cane of Cash.
Right.
We have got quite a few interviews actually this week.
Have we? We've got a lot going on, haven't we? We've got
lots of interviews, lots of
bit
different
of Black
things.
Lives Matter. We've got some businesses going back to work. We've got loads going on, loads. So looking forward to it all. Great stuff. Shall we have a look around our beautiful town?
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do. Hold on a minute. Satellite's going on. There it is. Look at that. What's that black thing in the middle there? That's not our local thing, is it? That's not our mate come back. Don't say his name. But maybe it's not.
No.
Maybe it's not.
No, last time we looked there were people.
There were people about to throw that poor child off the thing, weren't they?
Yeah. It's not as nice today though.
We'll get our I need to press a couple of buttons here for the satellite. Because it's always tricky going to the Haven Hotel. Come on, Haven. There it is. Look at that. Oh, look, that's the boat. Look.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a rare sight. You better take a picture of that, everyone.
Oh, actually, that's a really lovely picture.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Apart from that.
Lots of boats.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really big boat in the middle.
Yeah, the big old ferry's back. Can't believe it.
Not yet, though. It's not.
Wow.
It's
good as, isn't it? When is it? Tomorrow? Tomorrow or Monday? Or it might have already started. I don't know. We have featured it many, many times. The Ship of Doom is back to reality. Now let's have a look at our most beautiful railway station we have in the Purbeck.
It even looks beautiful in the rain. Look.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
And of course, our very own railway.
The sun
is always shining on the righteous. There you go. And Swanage is the righteous town. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks really, really, really great there. Look at the sky and compared to
wow
what we saw in Cove.
What's going on there? Look at that. Beautiful blue sky. Wow, that's really nice. What happened to that dining train, do you think?
That dining train was really, really lovely.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. Very, very nice indeed. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone in Swanage, for letting us look at the webcast. Should we do a little bit of the weather? I think you like the weather bit, don't you?
No, I don't think I'm going to like it this time.
Look at that. what has happened to our weather over there. Today, cloudy. Tomorrow, it's not raining tomorrow. I'm going to go to Bristol tomorrow, pick a boy up. Ooh, I'm not happy about that.
Temperatures aren't very high either, are they?
Sunday looks good. Sunday looks good. Monday looks okay. Tuesday looks okay. Wednesday's got a bit of rain. It's not bad, to be totally honest, is it? It's not too bad.
Well.
Anyway, there we go. So, do you know what? We've done that, and I think it's our favourite time of the show. Let's get straight into 5 hot topics of the week. Ready to sing?
Well, actually, before we go there, one of our viewers
One of our viewers.
had a birthday yesterday.
Who is that?
Works for the council. Friend of the show.
Tatty, friend of the show. Hello, Tatty. Happy birthday.
For yesterday.
How old was he?
21.
21 again. Happy birthday, Tatty.
Happy birthday.
But it's this time for this now. Get ready for your singing voice. You didn't sing.
No, I'll leave it to you. You're the singer.
Okay. Rosemary, please tell me, what is our first hot topic of the week?
Oh dear. When we left last time, we had the Coast Guard on.
We did. And we said...
And we had the fire brigade on.
saying don't do anything stupid, respect the coastlines.
We don't want to be coming out for an emergency.
And then what happened?
Yeah.
This happened.
Yeah.
This happened. The day after we'd spoken to the Coast Guard, it was just... The irony was mad. And it was crazy. Thousands and thousands of people
are in that picture?
Don't know. That what? Socially distancing? None. But that's not the point. That's not the point. Did you see the cars and the rubbish and the nonsense that was left? But that's not all. That's not all. Oh no. No, they didn't just do that, did they? Because what they did was, in actual fact, they managed to climb up the crazy durdle door and jump off it, right? Yeah. Injure themselves, right? And then they had to call in the air ambulances. So it pushed them all the way back at the far side of the beach. It pushed them in the middle of the beach to get morons who jumped off a 200-foot cliff rock into the water, which is low, and no one knows, you have to be very experienced for that. But why would you do it? Why would you go up that high and risk your life? And then the very next day, they did it again.
Yeah. I think
honestly.
There was alcohol involved. That's not always a good thing.
There must have been alcohol involved.
And also, I think people go to the beach because there's not a lot else to do at the moment. There's no shopping.
There sort of is that. I suppose.
There's no pubs. There's no cinema.
Do you think it might have been a bit of a different thing if the pubs are open? I suppose.
Don't know. People seem to have lost it. The amount of rubbish. The pictures were horrendous. I don't want to see some of those pictures again. But people have lost their minds, bless them.
Did you see or read the TripAdvisor thing with that woman that came in and she said, "Oh, I've been to Durdle Door. It's a horrible place. Durdley Door. There was nowhere to park. No toilets were open. Nothing was open. Couldn't get a cup of tea. And I had my stilettos on, which made it really difficult to get down the stairs." What a moron. Yeah, we don't want people like you come in. We don't want people that are going to abuse our coastline. Okay, we don't want it. We want people to come and enjoy what we do, but we want you to be decent about it.
But also,
don't be idiots.
I think there was as well. It was the only beach open along there. Kimmeridge is closed.
Everything was closed.
Tynem's closed.
Even so,
and it was a really nice day. I'm not defending it at all because
there's a lot of people there.
But I think people were just fed up with sitting in and decided to come to the coast.
Yeah, maybe you're right. What can you do? What is our second hot topic of the week, Rosemary?
It's to do with Swanage Pier. Respect Swanage Pier. We had Nico on last week and she was discussing an incident that happened to her while she was doing some snorkelling in the bay. And it seems as if it may be the same group of people.
A while back, Swanage Pier, right, they spent a fortune on it, getting all that decking done, and the idiots picked it up and threw it in the water, right? Yeah. Just mindless nonsense violence. What we've seen a lot of recently.
The holes in the floor.
The holes you can see there.
Oh, I can see. And
they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And
that's
mindless.
Some of the decking in the sea.
And we're not saying who it is, but, right, because we don't know. But there could be this link whereby there was Nico, then there was there was the pier, then there was the Nico incident, and then the other day, the sailing club. The sailing club. Look at those youths. Who are they? Not saying they're connected to the other two. Might be a possibility. But they were caught, I think, being unruly, swearing, throwing a couple of things within the sailing club. So have a look. Who are those children? Where are the parents? Stop these unruly kids from doing it. You don't have to behave like that. Come on now. Rrr. So that's it. So keep your eyes out for a bunch of unruly youths. And if you're the parents and you don't know where your kids are at any particular time in the day, it might be one of them. Have a word. Thank you. Rosemary, send me peace. What else is happening? What else is happening that's pretty good?
Shops are opening.
Shops are opening indeed.
Yeah, Institute Road looks nearly finished there.
Yeah,
Looks
we've got a
really
little
good.
bit. We've got a few more pictures of that coming up. But I mean, it's really good, isn't it? It's getting back to normal. Thank goodness.
Be able to buy clothes and
Yeah, better do stuff.
all sorts.
Can't wait till the pubs open. No one can wait till the pubs open. Everybody's starving and thirsty.
Yeah,
Can't wait
yeah,
till the pubs
can't
open.
wait for the shops to open. Hopefully, the town will feel a bit more alive again because it's so quiet at the
Yeah,
moment.
I mean that's what we need. We need a bit of life there. We need a couple of characters painting their bit. Oh, there's one. Look, there's one. Hello, Adrian, friend of the show. Provided a few pictures for us today. Thank you, Adrian. But I mean, can't wait till that place opens. Can
Oh,
you?
nor can I.
Double egg on toast.
Take away breakfast on a Friday, please.
2 hash browns. Double egg on toast. 2 hash browns. Mushrooms. Tomatoes.
But have we heard when restaurants?
No,
Can
I don't know. I don't know.
Have we heard when holiday homes are opening up?
No.
Campsites?
No, don't know any of that yet. So we are expecting the town to be really busy, right? We are expecting them to come down in their hordes and spend.
Yes, please.
But we don't know when. So don't know when second homeowners can come down or the holiday people. We do need it as a town. I saw something about the mayor today. He was saying, use the local shops or lose them,
Yeah.
which in this current financial climate is going to happen to a lot of them if you don't. But, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. But come on, Swanage, I'm looking forward to it now. Monday, there's not long left. We're going to have a good summer. We're going to have a good July onwards. We're going to have to make a few quid in those 3 months that we're open.
And let's hope the weather improves as well because we've had
I'm sure it will.
really, really nice weather in lockdown and now we're sort of easing out of it. We're getting to rainy season.
We are, but
So,
we'll be
yeah,
all right. We'll be
please.
all right. I'm sure we'll be
sun.
all right. It's because you can't get in your hot tub, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's because I can't top the town up.
Right, now then, what is topic number
Number
four?
four.
This is. It's not a very good. It's not a very good topic. This, but we felt that we have to mention it because it's very emotive and rightly so because it's horrible.
Yeah.
Now-
this is Paul Magistrate's picture of. This is the story that we got from the Bournemouth Echo.
What happened?
Wow, it's really disturbing. A 17-year-old boy from Swanage admitted possession of more than 1,700 indecent images of children when he appeared in court. And these are Category A pictures, so...
And just go back, right? This is a 17-year-old Swanage boy,
Yeah.
which is really annoying that it's from Swanage. Otherwise, we wouldn't be featuring it. But this
it's-
is 2 years old, isn't it? This is
Yeah.
like it's taken 2 years. So he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
What?
When it happened.
I don't know what to say. What do you say to that? Is it a mental thing? Is
It's
it
a
just because
really-
he's a little horrible, little vile thing? What is it?
It's very serious.
But it's very serious because
story.
this person's with these images at 17 might not have done anything else other than these images. What kind of mental programming do those images give to somebody? What do they do? What would be next? What would he be doing? It's got to...
know.
What happened to him?
Well, the offences were carried out between 2017 and 2018. And I don't really understand the next bit. He was referred to the Dorset Youth Offender Panel for a 12-month contract. And then he was fined. He had to pay £85 in costs. And there was a victim surcharge as well of £20. So it almost sounds...
Wow, that should be spread quite evenly among those baby pictures, I'm sure, or indecent images. Honestly, that's disgusting.
Baby pictures,
I
but
don't know. I
they're
meant
indecent
kiddie
images,
pictures.
so, yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's quite a shocking story to read on your own doorstep. So
What do we do about that? It's endemic in society. It's everywhere from the top down. We've got to make a stand to this. I mean, talk about protest. If you want to protest, that's a subject to protest, right? I mean, horrible. I want to skip over it. I don't want to give it any more airtime. Disgusting. Watch your kids. Watch your children. Just be safe.
yeah, definitely.
What is our last hot topic of the week?
Black Lives Matter is our last
Hence the black thing, yes.
topic of the week.
And with the Black Lives Matter, I mean, there was a protest march. We all saw the television things, and it spurred the entire world to protest and march. And Swanage did a very, very well organised march. It was, in fact, probably the best march
Very well organised.
of the entire thing. Very peaceful, very respectful.
Quite well attended.
Yeah, it was very well attended. Listen, I went down there on a Saturday morning and I did a little bit of video. I'm not very good at video. Sorry about the sound. I did a couple of videos. It was very windy. But this is what we come up with.
Hi, this is Ian reporting live from King George's Park. This is for Swanage TV. This is Saturday the 6th of June. Just about to undertake a march for Black Lives Matter, I understand. The numbers seem to be swelling. This is at the beginning. It's policed. We have the police here. Let's go and have a chat with the police in a minute. Here we are. We have numbers. We have about 50, let's say 50 or 60 here at the moment. People are coming. The numbers will swell. We'll get some pictures later for this. They all seem in very good spirits and with their right to be able to protest. Then I hope they have a good day. This is Ian reporting for Swanage TV. We'll see you again soon.
And there you go. That's what happened. I went and did that. And then, not only then, because I said I was going to have a word with the police, I spoke to this guy, right? And this guy, James, he was all the police, which I did not know, the whole police force in Swanage, yeah, seriously, and Wareham, right? The whole lot in the Purbeck always watch the show. Good. Every day. I couldn't believe it. I'm really chuffed with that. Anyway, we had a chat with the James, the policeman that was happening, and this is how that went. Again, sorry for the sound. Here we are, I'm Ian for Swanage TV. This gentleman here is James. James, tell us about this demo. What is it you're here for?
Well, we're just here to facilitate the Black Lives Matter demonstration. As you can't see because it's on the other side of the camera.
Absolutely,
but,
yeah.
sure
We've done a few bits of footage for it. Yeah,
it's very well organised. There's a decent amount in attendance, and we're just here to make sure that if people want to protest about something, they can do.
Absolutely, yeah. Everybody has a right to protest. You're absolutely correct. And the march is going to be going down to the seafront. You don't expect any trouble like we've seen. Obviously, this is Swanage, so we're not expecting any nonsense for shopkeepers.
No, I certainly hope not. It's very well organised. The organisers have been really, really good at something. They be in contact with us. Yeah, really happy with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's going better than they anticipated. I think the numbers are going to swell. But no, I appreciate it and thank you very much for your time. It's very decent of you, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching the show.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And there you go. And how many times can I say swell in the same couple of interviews? Anyway, they did the march. It was very, very good for those that saw it. Some pictures coming out. Great sign. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. That's not just for Black Lives Matter. That's for any crime, okay? But great pictures, fantastic stuff there.
And these are by Aid, aren't they?
Yeah, these pictures are all from Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. There you go. Look, Wright's Fish and Chip Shop in the back. Don't know if that was open. They could have all got off the beach and had fish and chips. And we've got another couple of pictures there. Yeah, it was a really good march, wasn't it? It was lots of people. It was very well supported. Very well supported. And it ended up on the beach with some taking a knee, some taking two. But with some speeches and some fantastic things such as that. So yeah, I mean, it was a very, very, very good and well organised march, solidarity march. In fact, like we said earlier, the best solidarity march in the world. We only do it properly in Swanage. So there you go. Now, getting on to that. Listen, we all saw the Black Lives Matters protests all over the television. We saw various bits and bobs. We saw rioting, we saw everything else. But it's left a lot of people confused, and a lot of people don't understand Black Lives Matters. So what I want to do is hopefully we can have a chat with a fantastic young lady who... hopefully she'll come back. Who was
Hello, Jeff.
It is Jazz. Hello, Jazz. Thank you for joining us, and
Hello.
welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Jazz. We got a
Thank
lovely
you
picture
so much
of you.
for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. We have a lovely picture of you right now, which is where are you in that picture?
I was in Spain,
Oh.
obviously. It was last year, pre-lockdown, obviously.
Yeah.
Happier times.
Yeah, much happier times. Jazz, thanks for joining us. Listen, there's a lot of people confused. There's a lot of people confused by Black Lives Matter, the reason for the protest, etc. Would you mind telling our viewers what Black Lives Matter is all about, please, and what does it stand for?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, Black Lives Matter started as a hashtag in the US as a response to the killing of an unarmed black teenager, Trayvon Martin. And since then, it's really like a movement that's just gone to be global. And it now serves as like a mission statement and a rallying cry to end the systemic violence, racism and oppression black people face and have been fighting for centuries across the world.
Can't say further than that. And I can't say that I don't agree either, whether the stats show this or another, every time you see something on the telly, it seems like it's a black man or someone who's being wronged. To me, anyway. I'm sure there are others, but that's what that's what we see. Jazz, what the protest was really good, I thought. Did you speak at the protest?
I did speak at the protest, yeah, last Saturday. I spoke at the end. And I'd like to say, I've said it a few times before, I completely admire Rosie, who was the 14-year-old who organised it.
Wow.
I myself was feeling quite deflated. Yeah, incredible.
I did not know
think
that.
It shows that
I didn't know that.
Completely. I think young people are really spearheading this and saying that they won't stand for like the status quo as it is. And I think that's so commendable. And I myself, I felt quite deflated when I was seeing what was happening, obviously, in the US, and it brought up memories of what I've suffered here at home.
Well, that was one of the things. Sorry, Jazz. That was one of the things I was going to ask. Is have you personally experienced any racism in Swanage, within Swanage? Surely not.
Yeah, I'll go on to that.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, I remember just feeling quite deflated because I felt racism is something that people in Swanage don't care about. So I was glad to be proved wrong because so many people turned up and showed that isn't the case. In terms of have I experienced racism? Yes, I have. I think it's sad that for black people, racism isn't a question of have you, but when. It is an inevitability. At 10 years old, in Swanage, I was called a black CU next Tuesday. I've been called, sorry, I know a lot of this will be offensive, but it is deeply offensive, and these are all things that have been said to me. I've been called a black bitch. I've been called the N-word. I've lost count of how many times I've been asked where I've come from or been told to go back to where I came from, which is always a disappointment to the person saying it when I reply I'm from Swanage. I've had strangers, touch my hair without permission, again, countless times, without so much as a hello first. I could really go on, and racism has many layers, and it's really not just the obvious acts, but also in the way people treat you and behave around you as well. I mean, another example is, I can't say for sure if this was racism, but even during the coronavirus pandemic down here, I had a gentleman who slowed down his car as I walked past Boots in Swanage and slowed down his car to stare at me, literally at a creeping pace. And I think it was because he thought I wasn't from here. But it's that kind of hostility that we face daily.
That's mad. That's utter mad. I honestly wouldn't have thought our town. Listen, our town is beautiful, and in any town that's beautiful, you have a minority of uneducated or ignorant people. But I'm still surprised. I am still surprised at Swanage. It's just amazing, isn't it? It's what you don't know that goes on in a small, sleepy town. Jazz, there was some controversy a few years back, or maybe last year. I can't remember when it was. When the
2017.
The carnival I'm talking about. The carnival had an issue where we have the wheelbarrow race and people dressed up because it's a dress up time. Okay, it's a dress up time. That's what people do. But a couple of people blacked their face and they did the cool runnings thing. Was that an issue for you?
Yeah, it was a huge issue for me, and I voiced it at the time. Blackface is historic. What people really didn't understand is blackface has a long history and a really troubling history. It's an offensive trope that's been used to dehumanize black people for centuries. I think it goes back as far as the 19th century, so the 1800s. And I'll just try and summarize as quickly as possible, but in minstrel shows, white actors would black up and portray black people as simplistic, unintelligent, lazy, and aggressive. Exactly. My mum's white, and she remembers the black and white minstrel show.
Yeah, we do.
Stuff like that. So it's not even ancient history. Even like Little Britain, the cafe worker in that was shown to be lazy. These tropes still exist, and it's just like it's really in 2017 when the wheelbarrow race, when the event happened, like it's crazy that blackface is still something we have to debate. It is just so disgusting and so wrong. And when I saw that happening, I couldn't believe it. There was actually another person who did blackface that year too. But I remember what really stung is not only that this was happening, that people were stood around laughing and thought it was the funniest thing to happen, but that also they won first place. And I was just horrified. And I remember looking around at the time, and obviously the wheelbarrow race attracts a lot of, not the wheelbarrow race specifically, but carnival attracts a lot of tourists. And I could see that there were people quite clearly that weren't from this area who also were horrified, because blackface, I think the problem is, whilst again, in towns like Swanage, people don't like to think of themselves as being racist. However, there's not a high proportion of black people that live here that are always able to educate them on why these things aren't okay.
Yeah, I sort of agree with that.
It would never have happened in London.
Jazz, just on the flip side of that, when they blacked the face up and everything else, and they were doing it as drag, do you think rather than being racist, it's just ignorance most of the time? Because they're just ignorant. They just don't know. There is a lack of education with it. Because I just on the flip side of that, Jazz, is you mentioned the Little Britain thing, and the character's been removed. I think it's from Netflix. It's been taken from the Little Britain thing. Yet they've kept the film White Chicks, which is sort of a different side of things. It's black guys dressing as white women. How does that work, Jazz?
So first of all, I'll answer the thing about ignorance. I think there's a real problem in the UK of people being more offended by the idea of being called racist than actually dealing with racism. And I don't think that the two gentlemen that dressed up in blackface, I don't think they intended to be racist. It doesn't mean it wasn't. And I'm sure it was ignorant. However, that doesn't excuse it. I'm sure if I was to tell them they were racist, they'd be offended by that. However, rather than get offended, what people need to do is look at basically listen to it and realize that their actions have to change. They may not feel that it was racist. I'm telling them it was. And they may be uncomfortable being called racist. But I think what we need to normalize is calling it out. And rather than people feeling defensive when being called racist, instead they look at, how can I make sure that this doesn't happen again? So I just wanted to make that quite clear. And in terms of White Chicks, I mean, the difference is, because I've seen a lot of this on Twitter and so on, like going back to the black minstrel. So blackface has such a history. It is so deeply embedded. And like I said before, when people would black up, it was to show black people as simplistic, unintelligent, lazy, aggressive. And this was the only narrative of blackness that was being represented. And that's a problem that we still kind of suffer from today. Often black actors are stereotyped into black roles. And the reason that it's different to White Chicks is because white people have been represented in film, TV, and the media forever. There has never been a white character played by anyone other than a white actor, apart from in White Chicks. White actors have, however, played all other ethnicities and marginalised people, including those
I
with
do
disabilities.
have to agree with that. I saw Robert Downey Jr. did it, didn't he, in a film? A big Hollywood blockbuster.
Yes, and that was to call out, Tropic Thunder.
That's
and
all.
that was to call out how ridiculous it was. Like, I mean, obviously it's got its controversies, but the whole point of him playing a black actor in that was to call out the ridiculousness of white actors playing ethnic minorities when it's so unnecessary. Like, it's basically telling someone that I can play your experience better than you, which is insane. But in terms of White Chicks, again, like I was saying, whereas blackface is problematic because of its history of dehumanizing and degrading black people, which allows which adds to the culture of allowing black people to be suppressed, like, there's no history of this. Like, for whiteface isn't a thing. And like,
No,
what
true.
does White Chicks say about white people? That they're into shopping, that they're into partying and doing their hair? Like, it's hardly as damaging or offensive, and it's really not even comparable.
No,
Like,
I totally
that-
agree,
the
Jazz.
conversation-
But we were asked that question from people. That was all. I just thought I'd get.
Oh
that
yeah,
point across.
completely.
Jazz, listen, that is
No,
fantastic.
of course, and I understand why people are asking it.
Yeah, well, thank you for answering that so eloquently. A couple of last questions, Jazz. Is there anything we can all do to become, say, more tolerant and less racist, for example? Is there something? Is there a simple fix? Is there something that everyone can look at and do?
I mean, no, it's not simple, but also, yes, it is entirely simple. Like, educate yourself. It really is. Just educate yourself and listen to black people. Like, I think for many people, my friends and family included, like, I'm mixed race, so I grew up in a white family, and a lot of my friends are white, and a lot of them are waking up to racism for the first time, the fact it exists. Black people have been living this since the day we were born, and that's white privilege. So it's crazy that in this country we aren't taught extensively about the history of our involvement in the slave trade and colonialism and how that still permeates like the structures and like of our society today. So I think that's a big thing. We need to educate. It needs to be taught in schools, and ultimately just listen to what black people are saying. Try and understand that this is exhausting and emotional for us. And there's so much material out there for you to engage with. Literally, you just have to Google it. Like, it is amazing that there is all these resources that could answer, even with the, I know you had to ask the question because people are answering it, but people can even Google, why is White Chicks not as offensive as blackface, or why is that not the same thing, and get an answer. I would say great kind of resource that I would kind of point white people towards, and this is not an attack, but I just think it's a really brilliant book that so eloquently puts into, I just think it's fantastic, and that's Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Ezo-Lodge, and I think it's just such a brilliant like springboard for people to then go and do further reading. But ultimately, just listen to people. Don't argue, especially if a black person is telling you about their experience. You can't argue with someone's experience. Just listen and then try and understand why it is they're so upset, and do the reading yourself. Go and educate yourself.
Fantastic.
Like, I just keep seeing people seeing the sharing of, it's a privilege to educate yourself on racism rather than experience it, and I think that encapsulates it really.
Very well said, I think. Thank you, Jazz. One last thing, Jazz. Is there any place that the people of Swanage can go to, like a Facebook page for Black Lives Matter? Is there a Swanage version of it? And have you got any other events coming up?
Yeah, so we don't have a Black Lives Matter Facebook page as such, but we will be holding another protest demonstration this Saturday
Tomorrow,
at 1 p.m. We'll be meeting at tomorrow. Yes, we'll be meeting at King George's main beach car park, and we'll then be walking down towards the seafront by the Marlin, where we'll then have speeches and just some people talking on their experience. We will be observing social distancing measures, and yeah, it was just, again, just show up if you can, and if you aren't able to, to do some reading, but it would be really great to see as many people there as possible. But again, we will be observing social distancing measures.
No worries.
But yeah, it would be great to see people. 1 o'clock, King George's.
Fantastic, Jazz. Listen, thank you, Jazz. Thanks for coming on. You're a lovely young lady.
One more thing. For anyone that does want to... Oh, thank you. Sorry, one more thing. It's BLM Swanage, the Facebook event page for people that do want to check it out there.
Excellent. Jazz, listen, thank you for coming on. You spoke very eloquently. It's interesting that you're a lovely young lady and it's the younger generation that seem to be able to perhaps teach the oldies a few things, which is a good thing going forward, I think, for mankind as a whole. So,
yeah.
Jazz,
thank you so much.
You're
It's
very
been lovely.
welcome, and thank you very much. Good luck with the thing tomorrow, and I really appreciate the fact that you've come on to tell us all about it. Thanks a lot, Jazz. Ladies and gentlemen.
No problem. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, Jazz.
Bye.
Bye-bye. What about that then?
What lovely.
What about that then? Do you know what? You can see some of the people in Swanage be going, no, this, that. You know.
I just think it's really sad that she got abused as a 10-year-old.
I think it's sad when anybody gets abuse for anything. It has to be. But I think, like she was saying, this is a deep-rooted thing. Goes back, way back. You know, way back. And it's a real shame, and it's got to stop. The same as every other bad thing has to stop. But this is quite prevalent at the moment. So what a nice girl, wasn't she?
Yeah,
I liked her. We like Jazz. Jazz, thanks very much. Right. You're going to be leaving us soon. You're going to be leaving us now, Rosemary, because you've got to get back into the office, take some calls, do some bits. Take some calls, because you know what's coming. Rosemary, thank you. You've done really well, and I know you work really hard. Enjoy your hot tub, and we'll see you soon, because do you know why? It is time for... Thanks, Rosemary. See you later. Time for this. There you go, Rosemary. Wasn't she good? Wasn't she good, Rosemary? Wasn't that Jazz good as well? It's amazing how the young people... Honestly, I think we should maybe get some more young people on. They're far more eloquent than we realise, and they've got a lot of good stuff to say. So, anyway, we'll go with that. It's Cane of Cash! It's Cane of Cash! Oh, my goodness! Cane of Cash. Now, the Cane of Cash question. You can win money. You can win cash. We're going to send our lovely Nico round at some point with the Cane of Cash with lots of money. But you have to answer a question. That question is, what is our friendly resident seal called in Swanage Bay? What is our friendly resident seal called, or otherwise known as, in Swanage Bay? Now, call 0330 001 2401. Call now. First person in. If you live 5 minutes drive with Swanage, over 18, you have to be filmed. I will call you. You can win some money. Free money. Let's all have some... it's Friday night. You go and get some fish and chips. Do what you like with it. So that's the question. Give us a call. 0330 001 2401. And for anything else, contact us on email, hello@swanage.tv, Facebook, YouTube, all the usual suspects. Thank you. Good. Right. Now then. We did a feature. We're doing a little bit of a feature with businesses. And obviously we're really excited that Swanage is opening back up. It's been horrific for all of us. But there are signs of recovery. So let's all get this done. Now, I'm going to go live now, because we normally speak to a lady who is beautifully enchanting in her garden of wonderment. But today, Nico, she's coming out. And she's doing some business stuff with us. Let's say hello to Nico. Nico, hello, how are you?
Hi, Ian. I've got wine. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Nico. Very well indeed. We've got a bit of an echo, which is a shame, but we'll live with it. How are you doing?
Good. I'm down in Swanage Town Centre outside the old stables, Turf and Surf, which is run by Alison, who's a very well-known business lady. Come on up here, Alison, with me. We're observing some distancing. Look, Alison is, in case you can't see, a couple of metres behind me, viewers, so no need to worry. Now, Alison's very well known in Swanage. She's run several businesses. She's an excellent businesswoman. But unusually, Alison's opened a new business in the midst of the corona lockdown, haven't you, Alison?
Timing was absolutely spot on. Couldn't believe it.
So Alison's taken over the building behind me. She's redeveloped the inside, I believe, haven't you? Yep. And she's currently offering takeaway. Now, Alison, how did the shutdown kind of affect your plans, which are obviously up and running already?
Well, my plans became non-existent because basically, as fast as I moved here, I had to close again. So, I've just been closed ever since I moved here. Perfect timing.
Now, you've opened up and you're doing takeaway. Yes. What's the day that you can actually officially open? Do you know yet?
Well, it's supposed to be the 4th of July. But we are allowed to serve just drinks outside from the 22nd of this month, but no food.
That's excellent. So sneaky punters could come and have a lovely drink while they're waiting for their food order to cook, and then they could take the takeaway off home with them, couldn't they?
That's kind of probably how it's going to work.
I think that's a very good idea, Nico.
It is. It would work, to be fair, wouldn't it, Alison? If you had a nice drink of wonderful Sicilian wine, Ian, whilst waiting for your meal. Yep. Now, Alison, I guess when you moved in, did you plan to have staff working for you?
I did, absolutely. From the beginning, we started to advertise for somebody to come and join Chef Ian so that they could either learn or train by him. But of course, we've had to put just about everything on hold. We wanted a couple of waiting people, but we're all just sitting tight, aren't we?
So basically, and I think Alison is carrying on what she's done for the last however many years, and she's being a one-woman.
Many?
A woman of many hats, and is currently doing everything, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you being well supported by the customers you had previously that knew you were moving?
I have to say that my locals have been quite wonderful. They have been here for wonderful rolls that we do at lunchtime, and tortillas and nachos, and then Wednesday and Thursday when we do our takeaway hot food, yes, it's all the local people that we know from previous lives.
Now, let's just talk quickly for a second about the social distancing rules, because I know it's got a huge impact. We've spoken to many of the pubs and cafes here, and they've said that if the 2 metre rule stays, they can't really open because the number of people they could fit in wouldn't even cover the wages of a waiting staff.
No, it won't be cost effective. It can't be cost effective. You cannot possibly. Oh dear, there's a car. I'm terribly sorry. There's a car and my dog's in the road.
Right, Alison's going to go and rescue her famous dog, Pickle. Oh no, he's okay. He's waiting behind us. He's there. He's waiting.
Okay, sorry about
For
that.
viewers that don't know, Alison used to run a very, very popular pub, and Pickle the dog was probably, as Alison said, more popular than her. So he is with us this evening, although not drinking the wine. So
was that why he was called Pickles? Because he was pickled most of the time.
Yeah. So basically, we do
probably
really do need this to come down to the 1 metre, not the 2. For everyone's sake, it's everyone has to be sensible, everyone has to be practical about this, but for us to get the show back on the road again, we really badly need just the smaller distance between folk. Yeah.
So there we go, Ian. We're here with Alison. Now, Alison, before we leave you, as you've been so wonderful and you've come down to see us and opened up for us this evening, when are you open and what are you serving, Alison?
We are serving fresh crab rolls every day. Lunchtimes 11 till 2, plus our own coronation chicken, BLTs, teriyaki salmon, all kinds of yummy fillings like that. And then on our Wednesdays and Thursdays, at the moment, our menu is obviously hot meals, very extensive and very fishy. Also, we're doing some meat as well, but beautiful meals.
You're a bit of a seafood goddess, aren't you, Alison?
It has been known. Yes.
So there we go.
One of our best sellers is definitely our seafood stew, and not to be missed.
Oh, sounds fantastic. So there we are.
Lovely,
We're here.
Nico.
It does. And I have to say, Alison's got a fantastic reputation for wonderful service. You have, though, Alison. It's been how many years have you been running establishments in Swanage?
Well, I kind of started at the Scott Arms in 1977. And
A short history, Ian, locally.
yourselves.
So she was, of course, 3 years old when she started in 1977.
Nico,
But there you go.
I've
Now, I
just,
believe very quickly. Yeah, go on, Ian.
sorry, just quickly, Nico, this 2 metre rule, okay? Everyone
Yeah.
needs to pay attention and do a little bit of research. It is not a law. It is not a law. It is a rule. You do not have to abide by it, as is evident by the police force and everybody else. So if you think you're opening your shop now and you have to have that 2 metre rule, you don't. You do not have to have that 2 metre rule. So bear it in mind exactly what Alison said there. Yeah, totally agree with what she said. You can't have a 2 metre rule and do the business, particularly if your shop relies on footfall. Sorry, that's all I wanted to say, Nico. Sorry.
That's not a problem, Ian. So we'll leave you. We shall wave goodbye to Alison. I will finish my wine and head off to my next interview, Ian. And we wish you well. Back to the studio.
Fantastic, Nico. That is really, really good. Thank you very much, my darling. We will see you in a little while. Thank you very much, Nico. What about that then? Business is opening. Can't wait. Well, listen, we've got... you know what we do. We go everywhere. We do a few bits and bobs. So what I want to do is I want to put you over now to our very own Ginger Ninja, our very own Wareham correspondent, Mr. Mark Tigger-Rigby. How are you, sir? Oh, hello, Mark. Are you muted, Mark, or are you unmuted? Can you hear me? It's quite clear he can't hear me. Perhaps we could come back to him later. Mark, hello, are you there? Well, obviously not. Perhaps we should get in touch with him and tell him to have a look at his entire camera work there and see if he can actually unmute himself. Do you think he will? I don't know. We'll have a look. He was clearly not paying attention to where we were. We will try again. Mark, are you there, sir?
I am here, Ian. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We finally have you. Hello, Mark. Sorry. I think that might have actually been the producer's fault. I'll have a word. Yeah, sorry. I've had a word with the sound people.
Thank you very much.
Mark, how are you, my friend?
Very well indeed. Thank you, Ian. And yourself?
Yeah, getting through. Mark, I understand this good friend of yours is having a fantastic birthday. Is that right?
Well, he's having a fantastic week, and at risk of turning this into the Andy Bates show, the gentleman's name is Andy Bates. He's my right-hand man at Wareham Rangers. He celebrated his 50th birthday yesterday. His wife, and I won't give her age away because it's not the polite thing to do, but she's a year younger than him. And it's also their 26th wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's nice.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yes, and unfortunately, he was due to spend his 50th birthday in New York, but instead he ended up spending it on a wet Wareham Wednesday via a Zoom party. And well done to everybody that did join the Zoom party, but not quite the same as New York, is it?
No, it's not quite the same as New York, Mark. It's close, but it's not. There's no cigar in that. But anyway, happy birthday to Andy Bates. And I hope he's watching the show right now, Mark.
I'm sure he is. They're avid viewers, the Bates family. I know that. They're a family of taste, obviously.
Absolutely. Mark, what have you got for us? Where are you? We know we've just been with Nico. Businesses are looking forward to opening. It's all a little bit too much. What's happening in Wareham?
Well, businesses are starting to open, Ian. And you'll see, hopefully behind me, that I'm outside Harry's Bar in Wareham, which has soldiered on throughout lockdown by doing takeaways, etc. But of course, soon they'll be free to open to all and sundry with certain regulations, though.
Absolutely. I think we've just heard from a local business lady in Swanage, and they're all keyed for the, is it the 4th of July, Mark? Everybody's keyed up for that, for the opening properly?
Well, it is indeed supposedly the 4th of July, but I understand there's talk that, of course, it may, in fact, be sooner.
Yes, I hope so, Mark.
which
I mean,
I
we all hope
understand.
so.
I think we'll hear in due course that may be a bone of contention as to whether people are going to be ready or not.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, hopefully they will be, Mark. We just had the thing about social distancing, and I was explaining that it's not a law. It was just a general rule to be safe with. It is not a law. You don't have to be 2 meters apart from anyone at all.
No, but people are swayed by what the government tell us, rightly or wrongly, and believe it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I know. We had the issue of whereby if you're social distancing and you rely on footfall to come into your shop, it's not going to work. There has to be a far more practical thing. And what we were saying is you can reduce the distance down to a meter, which is like almost being normal. No one sort of gets too close to anybody, which would obviously be able to kickstart the normality again. Do you think that's likely to happen?
Well, there seem to be noises coming from the government that that's a possibility. But I think a lot of people's concern is that what's a meter? It is almost normality. Exactly. So I think there's some danger there that, and especially when you throw alcohol into the equation as well, as we're all well aware, it can make people a little more familiar than they normally would be. And considerations of a meter or 2 meters will just go out the window.
I totally agree. But Mark, you're there with some a fantastic place. I've been there. I've eaten there. I've drank many beers in there. In fact, I celebrated your birthday with you in there.
Indeed.
Let's go in, see who we've got.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got two legends of Wareham Wednesday, and indeed Wareham in general. But they are Wareham Wednesday Wonder Women. We have Nikki Morgan and indeed Jude Marquet, who is also the landlady proprietor of Harry's Bar.
Fantastic. Now, hello to the ladies.
I'm going to ask them some questions. In the studio says hello, ladies. See.
I think we're having a little bit of a problem with the signal, Mark, but we will stick with it. So you go for it.
Well, what I'm going to do I'm going to take these ladies outside.
Careful.
Yes. Well, we are now outside, and I'm hoping you can hear me a lot better now.
Yeah, that's slightly better, Mark. Thank you.
Jolly good. Jolly good. Well, I'm going to ask Jude as to when Wareham Wednesdays started and where the idea was behind it.
Hi. Yeah, Wareham Wednesdays, it started back in 2011, and it was started by a guy called Mark Howlett, who was on the Wareham Chamber of Trade at the time, and him and some other colleagues, other business owners, we all got together and wanted to put something on in the town, just to brighten up the town, really. Things were changing, so it was just to put on events in the town. That was how it all started.
And one thing that's always is why was Wednesdays chosen?
Okay, so that'll be down to me then. We were discussing what we could do, and after I was involved in Carnival quite a few years ago, and when you depend on a week or a weekend, you're very weather dependent. So I suggested that maybe if every Thursday there was fireworks in Portkey, and every Friday there was fireworks in Bournemouth. So it was like if we did something every Wednesday during the summer holidays, then if one Wednesday is wet, then it wouldn't matter, because then the following week might be sunny. So then it became Wednesdays. I think it was the new landlady from the Red Lion, Lisa Sainsbury, that said we could call it Wareham Wednesdays. So then that's it.
Well, how inspired is that? Fantastic. Well, that's answered one of the mysteries for me. Now, how many people are involved in Wareham Wednesdays, and are they volunteers, or do they get paid?
Very good question. There's only a few of us, to be really honest with you. It's a small committee, we're all volunteers. When it first started, it was all local businesses, various licensees, just generally people that wanted to put events on in the town for the community, put something back. But luckily, the first sort of year, Dave Burgess came on board and his sister Nikki Morgan, and we got a few other people on board, and we just, the success was pretty good after that.
Splendid. Well, you've mentioned Nikki Morgan, and she's obviously here as well. I'm going to ask Nikki, what events Wareham Wednesdays offer?
Hi there. Yeah, we offer everything from raft race to the soapbox challenge, which we've done in the last year, which was really successful. So we were planning on doing that again this year. The Pirates Invasions, and Pool Pirates are a big champion of ours. So yeah, we were going to do that again this year. And Navi was also coming along, the Michael Jackson tribute.
Oh, he's good.
It's unfortunate that we had to cancel it, but with
they like him. They like him. I'm being told by the studio that he's good. He's good. Yes. Well, that sort of led me on to my next question. Who are some of the most popular acts that you've been able to put on?
I would probably say one of the most popular acts that we've had in the last 9 or 10 years has got to be Navi's a massive crowd puller. I would say that Jim Etherington, our local hero or legend, as we would call him, is pretty popular.
We love Jim.
Dave Griff is excellent, and we love him coming. And the KM band, they have been brilliant, as well as the Stereo Ironics from Weymouth. They're a local band who we love coming, but it always rains when they come, which is a nightmare.
Well, it might be an idea not to invite them again, perhaps. But what I'd like to ask you, Nikki, as well, obviously the decision was made to cancel, and I think it's fairly obvious as to why that was. But was it a difficult decision to come to?
Wareham Wednesdays has been going on for 10 years. It's our 10th year this year, and it was really hard. We were hanging on, but with all the coronavirus and everything, I think it was within the safety and welfare of everybody in Wareham that we decided to hang fire. We are still unsure about our bonfire night, which is an outside event as well. So do you know what? Watch this space, and hopefully we'll be able to do that this year.
And which one of you lovely ladies would care to tell us what would have been on this year?
I know. This year we would have had Navi. He was coming back again. We would have had a Tina Turner tribute, because there was a massive surge of people asking for something like that. The Pool Pirates are definitely coming, which is a massive event of ours. Soapbox was coming. Raft race is happening. We were condensing it into 4 events this year. We were just going to do August this year. For our 10th year anniversary, to make it really special and really massive, and huge firework displays to go alongside it.
So, bearing in mind it's not happening this year, and it would have been the 10th anniversary.
Mark. What a shame.
Isn't it, Justine? It's a real shame, because I think they were really going to push the boat out, and no doubt the Tina Turner act would have been simply the best. No extra charge for that one. And but perhaps we can find out from Jude what's going to be on next year then.
Well, I think next year will be pretty much sort of what we didn't do this year. We're going to celebrate our 10th anniversary next year. It's going to be bigger and better, and it'll be
Make sure you support it massively, because everything we do is free, and it's for the town, it's for the local residents, it's for people that come here on holiday.
And who benefits?
Okay, well, lots of local people benefited over the years. When Wareham Wednesdays first started out, it was to put on events in the town. But due to the great success that we had, luckily, within those 10 years, we've now had, we've got lots of brilliant sponsors, like the Key Inn pay for all the bands, which is a massive contribution. Hall and Woodhouse helped sponsor for the fireworks. It's all like amazing stuff. So we have managed to raise a lot of money, and the Pool Pirates being on board.
Steve Whaley.
Steve Whaley, the entertainment's agent.
Really
we have raised a lot of money for the chemotherapy cancer treatment room at Pool Hospital. What we've done is we've bought them a lot of equipment rather than give them money, because that just goes into a big pool for the hospital. So we've
just
you know,
over
done a-
£20,000 in the last 10 years have gone solely to very, very local Dorset Mind. Lots of Wareham Rangers Football Club have benefited, Swanage and Wareham
Yay.
Rugby Club. We've sponsored their kits. So, yeah, sorry about this year, but make sure you keep coming every year.
No,
Thank you.
Very, very good indeed, that, Mark.
Well, there we go. There's one more question I just wanted to ask Nikki. Because I'm aware she's a little bit warped, some may feel, because she married a dentist, the wonderful Richard. And I just wanted to ask her, when you got married, Nikki, you had a cake?
I did.
Yes. And what was the filling? I tell you, there's no extra charge for this week.
He's full of them this week.
So there we have it, Ian. You've got to say, Wareham Wednesdays, it's a wonderful series of events organised by very hard-working volunteers for the benefit of local charities.
Yeah, Mark, that's fantastic, my friend. Listen, shout out to the ladies. Well done, ladies. And I didn't realise it made that much money, Mark, to be honest. It's a huge thing, isn't it, Wareham Wednesdays? Let's get it back on as soon as possible.
Absolutely, Ian. Yes, we'll all be looking forward to next year's Wareham Wednesdays for sure.
Maybe
Fantastic.
bonfire.
All right.
Yeah,
Mark,
and of course, maybe the bonfire.
Yeah, maybe the one. Mark, listen, I will see you again shortly because we're going to speak about the business side of things later on.
Indeed, Ian. Yes.
Thanks, Mark, for that, and I'll come back to you very soon. Cheers.
Right, we'll see you in a bit, Ian.
ladies.
Bye. Bye.
Well, there you go. You know, listen, we are so running out of time. There's loads to do. Shout out. Cane of Cash. Phone 0330 001 2401. We've had technical difficulties with the calls. There's been people phoning and we can't get hold of them. It wouldn't answer. So we've got a problem with our phone system. But keep trying. We will keep trying. Please try and make sure you call. 0330 001 2401. Call now. Tell us the question, which was what's the name of the resident seal in our Swanage Bay? Ron Seal. Not at all. Okay, thank you. Couple of other bits of news quickly. Swanage Railway. What's that all about? They want to GoFundMe. I've looked at their books. I don't know. It's a charity. They seem to be quite well off, but they are looking for a lot of money. We wanted to get someone on from the Swanage Railway, and perhaps we will next time, just to find out why they need so much money all the time. Nothing's been going on, so I'm trying to work out why they need so much money. They obviously do. Perhaps we can get someone on the next show. Now, a couple of other things that have been happening. We've already covered the fact that Institute Road is opening up, which is fantastic. Can't wait for that, really. Look at these pictures. I mean, it's nearly done. There was people there earlier. We've had the flood defences removed. We're expecting people to come on that beach. The sea's calm. The sun's going to come out, and we're going to have a great summer, I'm sure. And this one, if you look closely, it's a very strange picture. They're either removing the flood defences or it's the annual let's watch our colleague we against that white concrete block. And it looks like the three guys are the judges there. It's not, but it's just a very, very strange picture indeed. So good, you know, the town's opening up, etc. And obviously, got to say it, I mean, the answer to the question is Ron Seal, in case you didn't know, and he's been back in the Bay. Something I've got to say, if you are seal watching, as it were, please make sure you give them some space. They do require their space. They don't require the interaction. Let them be free and let them stay on their way. Okay. Well, there you go. Don't forget to ring for Cane of Cash. We are running out of time. Now we're going to go back to our lovely Nico. We're going to cross live to Nico because we have another update on another business in Swanage. Let's cross live now to Nico. Nico, hello.
Hi, Ian.
Hey.
We are here with another well-known businessman, Mark Croucher of Swanage. Hi, Mark.
Hello. I'm not sure how well known I am.
Pretty well known, I feel. Now, many viewers will know that Mark took over the old NatWest building opposite the seafront there and turned it into an amazing emporium of everything wonderful and antique. And
Stuff.
stuff.
We specialise in stuff.
That's it. Stuff. Much stuff is available. But since then, Mark, there is a theme here. Like Alison has taken over here, Mark personally has taken over the new Earthlights, or the old Earthlights building, and has renamed it to...
Well, in the morning, it's La Cuillère Grasse, or the Greasy Spoon, and in the evenings, it's Swanage Pizza and Burgers. And in fairness, it is actually my son's business, who's just turned 17, but he's too shy to do this.
Now, that's pretty impressive, isn't it, Ian? A 17-year-old who's being supported by his father in the time of lockdown.
We need
to start up a new business.
When we were talking
earlier,
sorry, Nico. When we were talking earlier to
carry on.
Jazz, we were working out that the youth really are. It's a good youth thing. Apart from the unruly youths, there's a lot of young kids in Swanage, a lot of young people, and to open a business at 17, even if it's with the support of your dad, you're doing something, and I think it's a remarkable testament to the boy. Well done.
Oh, it's amazing. Ian was just saying what a remarkable testament it is to the youth of Swanage. Forget the unruly little bunch we've all heard about. Most kids like your son are pretty amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, several of his friends work here. Quite a lot of the people here, 16, 17. They're apprentices who have unfortunately lost their jobs elsewhere in the catering industry because of this lockdown. And, we're more than happy to give them a chance. I mean, they're very enthusiastic. It's just the sort of food that young people like. Where can you go wrong with ribs, pizza and burgers?
And the greasy spoon in the breakfast in the morning. Don't forget that, Mark.
Oh, well, absolutely. And, bacon sarnies. Who doesn't love a bacon sarnie?
Now, Mark, what we were talking to Alison about, which you probably didn't see earlier, is the impact of the lockdown and how it's going to affect, especially as you're a newer business, you opening up. Now, I'm just going to turn around, Ian, and you might be able to see behind me, Mark's been really busy and he's got a fantastic array of vehicles.
Wow!
That he has sign written himself. I know, they're amazing. And these are the takeaway vehicles. What? Tell us about the vehicles, Mark, and what they actually are.
Well, the little yellow one, the Burger Buggy, is a Q-Pod. It's a little 340cc engine in it. Great fun to drive, about 50 miles an hour. Always gets a smile and a wave from all sorts of people. The other one is the Pizza Ped, which is an old Honda Gyro. I haven't really been able to use that because the speedo's broken. It's only 50cc, so it's not likely to trouble anyone with speeding. But they're just quite good fun, and you can't miss them. Excellent thing to plaster 427777 all over.
Nice plug there, Mark.
We're
talking to a professional here, Ian.
It was almost.
I know, he knows what he's doing.
Nico. I almost never heard it.
It was just slipped in there.
That was natural.
It was natural. Now, Mark, talk to us a little bit about where you're going to go from here. I mean, we've just spoken to Alison about if the 2 metre social distancing kind of stays in place. Most small cafes and businesses are really going to struggle covering their costs, having people in to eat. So what are your kind of thoughts and plans with the new place that you've opened here?
Well, it's all a little imprecise at the moment about exactly what you're likely to be able to and when you'll be able to do it. But having started out originally in the evenings, which we had no intention of doing to begin with, but we signed the lease just before the lockdown. So we found we had a building that we didn't qualify for a grant for. And you can't just keep paying the rent on a building that just sits there. So the pizzas was very much a product of the lockdown. We knew we could deliver them. We knew we could do them as takeaways. The original plan was for the cafe, the Greasy Spoon or La Cuillère Grasse. And it's very unpretentious. So, I mean, we've sort of been working very much on the takeaway and delivery side of it, and have built up sort of quite a good clientele, already on that basis. So we will continue doing that. When we can have people in, I mean, obviously, we'd like to see the place as full as possible, and it's always very unclear what's the rule, what's guidance, what do you have to follow, what's optional to follow. And to a certain extent, I think we have to be guided by the customers and what the customers want. If the customers are sort of going to go out of their way to sort of stay a couple of metres apart, then say, no, it's perfectly all right, get closer together. I think we'll just lose customers. I mean, personally, I think that sort of 1 metre, more than adequate. But Yeah, I mean, it's the customers who'll decide it, really. And I mean, we've got a similar problem around the corner in the antique centre as well. I mean, it's a huge, great building. We've had to close 2 floors off there. The cafe at the antique centre has been closed since before the lockdown as well. The girls, they can come back because it is only sit-in, and it's in a small space, so you just can't get people 2 metres apart. It's very, very tricky to know exactly how it's going to work in practice. I just think that we're fortunate to have quite a good sort of both morning and evening takeaway and delivery business. So, I mean, it sort of takes it away, and people who are overly concerned about the 2 metres, I mean, they can go sit on the seafront, take it away. We've even got wooden cutlery and everything. Not for pizzas, of course. You have to eat that with your hands. I think that's the law. But obviously, for a full English breakfast that's takeaway, it's jolly difficult to eat beans with your fingers.
You could try, Mark. We could try. So, I mean, these are things, Ian, that we've talked to Alison about, and now Mark. And I think most of the cafes and pubs here are really concerned about the social distancing. And Mark pointed out earlier, it's not just that. It's often led by customers. If 50% of your customers are really frightened and don't want to be within 2 metres of somebody, it makes it really difficult for the cafe and business owners to kind of come up with a plan to open when they can, doesn't it?
Well, exactly. And, I mean, if the customers think that we're not taking sort of their health in the course of this pandemic seriously, then, I mean, obviously that creates a problem for us. So, and I mean, I think also we have to sort of bear in mind that, it's a slightly older population perhaps than in other places along the coast, and so people, I think, are concerned that they're more vulnerable to it somehow. So I think it's very much a question of wait and see. I mean, if people want to come in, sit down, well, that's fine. I mean, at the moment we've got a counter installed in there that takes up most of the sales area anyway, just so we can provide social distancing for people who come in to do takeaways, because there's no pavement here, so we can't unfortunately do what Alison does with the table at the door, because then people would be tripping over each other on the pavement. Entertaining for a YouTube video, but not very good for customer relations,
especially with an older generation. So we've spoken to 2 people, Ian, in Swanage who, despite enormous difficulties, and Mark does have the antique centre to worry about, which has been shut for months, you're kind of making strides in just pushing ahead. Like you said, that rent still has to be paid at some point.
Exactly. My landlord at the antique centre still expects full rent for the whole lockdown period and going forward. So it means, coming up to the quarter day, I've still got £12,000 that I have to pay.
So we need balaclavas, Mark, don't we? And an open bank somewhere. So, I mean, Ian, I think it's a really mixed pattern here. A lot of businesses like Mark and Alison we've spoken to have just carried on, have tried everything that they can. They're making money to try and cover the rent in the hopes that, basically, I think, as our mayor, Mike Bonfield, said recently, everyone watching this is going to have a choice once shops and cafes reopen, and that is you deliberately plough your money into those local businesses, or you face losing them.
Absolutely,
and
Nico.
There's a huge there's a huge knock-on effect for that. I mean, Mark was saying he's taken on staff and apprentices who've lost their jobs elsewhere. So unless local people watching this support every single local business as they open, it's going to have a huge knock-on effect, isn't it? I think.
I totally agree.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's very much sort of the local businesses are the lifeblood of this, of our community here. And I have watched with some horror sort of the finger pointing that's gone on about visitors, because there simply won't be any local businesses left if this goes on for much longer. A number of businesses are in trouble in the town. I mean, I'm in a slightly sort of fortunate position that I've been trading around the corner for a couple of years, but if I'd just taken this on a few days before the lockdown, my son and myself, we'd have really been in some difficulties here. I mean, as it stands, I mean, we've got 9 staff here now. If I could make a slight plug, we do need more drivers. So if any delivery drivers want to deliver pizzas in the evening, then by all means come in and see us. Or give us a call.
That's great, Ian. So anyone listening who needs some extra money or has lost their job, come and see Mark in the old Earthlights building, which is now
Swanage Pizza and Burgers and La Cuillère Grasse, or the Greasy Spoon in the mornings. 427777. You can't forget it.
There you go, Ian. So we're here with Mark Croucher. Anyone who needs a job delivering, please give Mark a ring. And in the meantime, it's back to you in the studio, Ian.
Nico, thank you very much. That's like you say, pretty much it with all businesses. Nico, we've got problems with the telephone system for Cane of Cash, so people are trying to get through and we can't answer them. I know, so we might not get a winner on this occasion. But listen, thank you very much, Nico, and we will see you on the next one.
Indeed. Take care.
Thanks, Nico. Wow, what about that? Yeah, sadly, the Cane of Cash. I mean, people, you've got to still keep phoning because we we can see the calls coming in. We can't route them properly, and we can't keep practicing doing it until the calls keep coming in. So sorry if you haven't been able to get in. We might have to kill it this week and maybe double up the money next week. Who knows? Let's go quickly back to our good friend Mark in our Wareham correspondent. Let's say hello again to Mark. Mark, how are you, sir? Unready is how I am. Mark, are you there? Sadly, we've lost him. We'll try again. Mark, are you with us? Are you with us, Mark? We seem to be losing... Technically, it's going mad here. Don't think we're going to be able to show Mark just at the moment, which is a shame. Mark was going to do a little bit more about the businesses in Wareham. Sadly, it looks like we've lost his feed. Satellites are playing up. Technology's going crazy at this time. So perhaps we'll come back to that. Now, also, we have a situation where we were going to do the Cane of Cash winner now, but we can't. So it's a shame. So we're going to go straight to our next item. Now, we'll forget that for now. Do you remember the VE Day celebrations that we covered last time where the town and everybody else came together to work for... we came to work, everybody came together and it was a fantastic time and people did some remarkable things, face masks and everything. Some people, they did songs. So I wonder, listen to this.
I pray you'll be alright and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what about that? What a nice song that was. What we're going to try and do is, I think we can get Mark back, but we'll come back to Mark slightly later because I want to get this done now, where we're going to speak to a lady who made that beautiful song and did something for the lockdown. So let's see if we can get hold of the lovely Karen G. Are you there, Karen? Not expecting her to actually take the call because we're a little bit mucked out with a few other bits and bobs. No, are you there? Let's try again. I believe Karen has joined, which is fantastic. Bear with me, Karen. We have to just do a couple of things here to hear you. Do apologise. Karen G, are you with us? Maybe not. Karen, are you there? Oh, what a shame. What an actual shame. Let's just try her one more time, see if we can get her. Karen, are you there, my love? It looks like she's not, which is a real shame. So Karen, we can hear you. Hello. No, we can't. What a shame. Oh, what a shame. I have no idea. We're going to try her one more time. I think what we need to do is perhaps mute our outside reporters for a moment and see if we can pick up Karen. I think she's lost in the ether, which is a real shame right now. Karen, can you hear me? Karen, hello? Karen G, are you there? Well, all I can hear, for some reason I can't hear her. She's live on the line, but all I can hear is nothing, sadly. So, oh, Karen, what a shame. It's a real shame, Karen, that I can't get hold of you. However, I just wanted to say you did a great job. And we'll have to get you on the next show. But we did a great... Karen, is that you? We don't know. She did a great job. She did an album of, I believe, 14 tracks called Karen G's Lockdown. It's in aid of the NHS. So it's £10 a copy. Go on to Karen G's Facebook page. You can buy it from there. And I think she did a fantastic job. It's a lovely song. But she's done 14 of them. All your favourite wartime and some lovely songs in aid of the NHS to help our front lines. Now, I can hear, it's a shame we didn't get hold of you, Karen. Perhaps we will get you back on the next show. What a shame that was. In the meantime, I think we can cross live to our Wareham correspondent again. Mark, hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Ian, yes. We seem to be having some technical difficulties, which I think we've managed to overcome.
Yes, you and me both. We had the lovely Karen on. I couldn't hear her. She sadly just went. It's a real shame. But never mind, we'll get her. And now we've got you, Mark. Tell us what you're doing, mate.
Well, I'm still at Harry's Bar, and I've been imbibed very kindly by Jude with a pint of lager. So it just goes to show, Ian, the last episode I was stuck in the middle of a charred forest, and this week I'm sat in a lovely bar having a cool pint with
Mark,
a couple of lovely ladies.
Can you ask her what the... is it Sticky Vicky cake? What's that? Is it the Sticky Vicky cake or something?
Well, let me ask Jude about that, yes. Ian's asking, what about this Sticky Vicky cake?
It was vegan Vicky cake. That was today's introduction.
Sticky Vicky, it was not. No, I do apologise.
We're making all our own cakes in Harry's.
Ian apologises for that. Now, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, because I know you've touched upon in Swanage with the reopening or proposed reopening of bars and pubs, cafes, etc. And I really want to ask Jude whether, bearing in mind social distancing guidelines, whether it's feasible economically and indeed socially.
Right, well, that is our main concern. Obviously, when we were first into lockdown, we was very worried and scared about businesses staying open. But the government have been absolutely brilliant with their help. But now it's coming to the point where we might be able to open, but with restrictions in place, it does make you worry and think, are people gonna survive now? Because it is going to be so difficult. It would be nice to have, it would be nice to have people spread apart and you can be more sociable, I guess. as in you can speak to customers more, you've got more time with them because there'll be fewer customers, but it's not really ethical to keep businesses open. That's the worry.
Now, the other thing I wanted to speak to you about is, certainly in the studio, they've touched upon the rules, the guidances. Now, have you had any guidance from the government or indeed environmental health officers, anything like that?
I have actually this week been in touch with environmental health, because there's obviously lots of companies that email you every day saying what you need, what you don't need. So I have been in touch with environmental health, and they've said that they haven't yet received any full guidance on what we will need in place. As long as we've got a clear view of sort of one-way systems and 2 meters apart on the tables, then that's fine at the moment. There's no restrictions on screens. Nothing is concrete yet.
Now, I know Jude is experienced in the licensing trade, having run a number of different venues. And I'm just going to ask, do you think it's realistic that all the venues that there are in Wareham, the pubs, cafes, bars, will be able to survive? You don't need to mention any specific names, but is it realistic that they will all be able to come through this?
Got some really good premises here in Wareham, some good licensees, some good landlords. Everyone here will try their best to survive, but I honestly can see a lot of places won't, or small shops. It's just going to be very difficult. People are going to be frightened to come out. It is going to make a difference. The next year will be a big sort of telling point, whether we survive or not.
Well, I think that's fair to say, and you'll understand it's going to be a challenge for many businesses to survive. It's not just a case of opening up on the 4th of July or before, and it's happy days. It's going to take a lot of hard work for people to keep going. I'm sure you'd agree, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. We've heard it from Swanage as well. You're essentially, if it doesn't go and everybody doesn't go back to normal, what we want as businesses, I think, is for July the 4th to be like an ordinary July the 4th, where it's packed, everyone is busy, and it's full of holidaymakers. That's what we do. That's how we make money. If it's that, we may make just enough in a 2 or 3 months, and I'm only saying may, a lot won't make it, is enough to just struggle through to those winter months, because essentially for most businesses we've gone from a winter to a winter, and and we rely so much on the summer months to bring in the trade that lasts us through the winter, in terms of to keep staff on, to just to live. I mean, so yeah, absolutely looking forward to this opening. It can't come soon enough from me, Mark.
No, and I think it's important that people have used their local stores throughout this lockdown period, that they continue to use the local venues. Instead of racing off to McDonald's and Burger King, use your local venues. Try and keep them going, because they've been important in the community throughout this whole crisis. And it's important that they keep going. And that's down to us, all of us, to do so in our respective communities.
Absolutely, Mark. We've had the same message from Swanage, as the same message must be for Wareham. Use them or lose them is the thing. We don't want to see. These are our friends. These are our business colleagues. We don't want to see them go. They're part of the town, so we need the people to spend the money. I guess it's not really asking for a favour, but it's saying, like you say, don't go to the big supermarkets. Don't go to these big places. Shop as local as you possibly can, and just give the whole towns a chance to see if we can get through the winter. And if we can get through the winter and we can get back to a full summer next year, we'll just put it down to a bad experience and take a deep breath, I hope, for most of us. So
exactly.
That's what we have to do.
Last question I'd like to ask Jude. As I said, she's an experienced proprietor of a number of venues in Wareham. She's worked the bar, in the wine bar, Harry's bar, and indeed down at the Quay. I think the burning question is, over the years, who's been your favourite customer, Jude?
Obviously you, Tigger.
Well, who would believe it, Ian? Who would actually believe it?
Honestly, no one would doubt it, Mark, I think is the thing. No one would doubt it. Listen, Mark, thank you for today. I appreciate everything you've done, Mark, and I really hope Wareham, like Swanage, can get back on its feet as quickly as possible.
I'm sure with the people of the Isle of Purbeck, Swanage and Wareham will bounce back again. But as ever, Ian, it's been a pleasure to speak to you and, of course, all the viewers. And I look forward to seeing you all again.
Mark, thank you very much, my friend, and we will see you again soon. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That seems to be it. I feel a bit sorry for the lovely Karen G. So I am going to try just one more time to see if she's about, because I feel a bit bad. No, she's not. We can't do it. There's technical issues all over the place, which also means I cannot do this, which is really annoying. There's no cane of cash today, I'm afraid. Nico, are you there? Nico, hello.
I'm here,
Hello,
Ian.
Nico.
I'm sorry, I'm still here. I'm still here with Mark because we can't stop talking.
No,
Ian.
that's
We've just
fine,
been stood
Nico.
on the street corner chatting.
It's just to say the technical difficulties for Cane of Cash, sadly, we can't do this week. So I wanted to say...
Are we going to do double money
We are
going to
do double money next week. Double money next week. Phone in. It is free money. Yeah, double money next week,
Free
Nico.
money!
And I'd just like to say thank you, Nico. That's what I wanted to do. Thank you very much for today. You're a superstar as always. I said to Mark, I've just finished with Mark, and let's hope the Swanage businesses get back to normal as soon as humanly possible. So thank you to you, Nico, and thank you to Mark and Alison.
And I'll just add to that, Ian, can all the people watching make sure they literally put their hands in their pockets, however skint they are, and spend in local shops, please.
Absolutely, Nico. Couldn't echo it better myself. Thank you, Nico. We will see you next time.
Indeed.
Nico, there you go. Well, we were going to do Cane of Cash. It's too late for Cane of Cash now. Now the system's working. I've got phone calls coming in left, right and centre. We can't do Cane of Cash. It's too late, I'm afraid. So I'm going to wrap the show up this time. I'd like to thank all my guests. I'd like to thank the lovely Jazz. I would like to thank the lovely ladies from Wareham, from the Harry's Bar from Wareham Wednesdays. I'm so sorry about your names. I can't remember. Jude and the lovely lady. Sorry about that, but thank you very much indeed. I'd like to thank Nico. I'd like to thank Mark. I would like to thank the Cane of Cash winner that never happened. I'd like to thank Karen G. Sorry we couldn't get you on. And thank you all for watching. We've overrun. Technology's beat us this time. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you.